I kept almost everything I received from my pen pals. There was and still is a lot of talent in the belly of the beast. I pray the men I touch will use their talent to better themselves and share their talent with others. Marquise also wrote short stories and poems. He wrote a 30-page letter to my son Brian on legal paper, sharing adventures of his life, hoping it would make Brian stop and think about the actions beforehand. Brian and I read the story with interest. I told Marquise if he didn't publish something when he hit the streets, I would be mad at him. Greetings, YouTube. Yes, that was the end of Chapter 11, Make It Plain. Now we are on Chapter 12, in Prison Affairs. Can I honestly do this? Chapter 12. Marquise and I talked over the phone, so we did not write as much as before. However, I did get a letter from him that made me stop and think. After a few formalities, Marquise told me why he said taking me from Tyrone would be like taking candy from a baby. I could have you because your man's game and conversation is as weak as a sleeping baby. If I were my old self, I would have taken you because he didn't think I could. He wasn't doing his job as your baby/man. If he were, you wouldn't have no reason to look on the internet for another prison pen pal. He should have answered any questions you had about brothers on lock. He was supposed to make damn sure you had no need, want, or desire to question or converse with another man, especially when the conversation is a subject he should be knowledgeable about. And please don't give me, I needed a second opinion. I've heard them all before. Your introduction letter was a small cry for help, quietly. Never let a man that's looking for a relationship know you're unsatisfied in your current relationship, unless, of course, that's exactly what you're trying to do. Either way, that is the message I got. And a man doesn't care if you're in a committed relationship or not. Once you send any message or give any signal that you are unhappy, unsatisfied, unfulfilled, or anything, he's coming to get you. Please believe the old me would have in fact done just that. Plus, any woman of mine deserves to be treated like a queen. And right now, I'm a king without a kingdom. Besides, didn't you just end a relationship with the brother on lock? Why would you want to start another? Marquise made me stop and think because his letters, as well as Darnell's, made my heart beat triple times upon arrival, just as Tyrone's had. I knew I was allowing myself to be caught up, but I was happy for the most part. The only way I could explain it was that I accept love where it is given. If a brother approaches me and I'm feeling him, I feel I must allow him the opportunity to show me if he is indeed for me. I don't want to look back and say, what if? And I have never been one to look at outward appearances and material things. Those men fall short too. Moreover, I can't judge a man's heart because the heart can be deceitful. I figure as long as I'm happy within myself and I'm not hurting anyone, why not? After that, I received a letter from Edward. He was worried about Darnell trying to use me. This is my reply. I was trying to reassure Edward and myself at the same time. First of all, I will admit to being insecure when it comes to a relationship with a man. My past relationships do indeed affect my future. When I last wrote Darnell, he was having doubts about the halfway house and things being difficult in a new city. So I asked him to rethink his decision about coming to Houston and get back to me. It has always been my concern that Darnell and Tyrone could come home and have a change of heart without intent. But I ain't gonna let the devil play with me with that shit no more. Day by day, I learn to live life to its fullest because nothing is promised. But oh, the joy and happiness that comes to those who are unwilling to keep daddy first, no matter what. Doubt has no place in a healthy, happy relationship, and I am not worried about Darnell running game. When I look into his eyes, I see no hint of malicious deceit. I did not see it in your eyes either. That's why it was pressing me to see you at least once. And anything I do for someone will be done from my heart, so I could never get played. If it doesn't work out, I look at it as a bad investment. If it turns out that I am wrong about a person, God will help me deal with it. I have in the past. Most times I saw the deceit beforehand and overlooked it. But when it comes evident, I'm out of there. So you don't have to worry about anyone running over me. I try to hold my own. Still, it is good to know you have friends that are watching your back. What also made me stop and think was the time I called Darnell's mom to inquire how she was doing. I kept saying Tyrone when referring to Darnell. I did not realize it until she brought it to my attention. I found myself making a conscious effort to say Darnell when I was referring to him. Tyrone's name was still in my mouth. I was honest with Darnell and told him what happened. Of course, he wrote me a hot note. First, I want to thank you for calling my mom for me. It's good to hear that she is doing okay. It's been a minute since I seen or heard from her. I ain't tripping on y'all coming up here. I need to see you by yourself on a contact visit. If you come with her, I can't say some of the stuff I want to say to you. I want to give you one of them old baby kisses and grab my babies. And check this out, Christine. I know you knew this was coming. That shit you said to my mom calling me Tyrone was some fucked up shit. That type of shit fucks with my ego. It bruises my ego because I thought you had the nigga off your mind. I'm so in love with you and you got me out there bad. I see the only way to get him off your mind is to cut him off all the way. I wasn't tripping on you and him being friends, but that just did it. You are supposed to be my fiance. We be in bed and you get to calling that nigga's name would fuck me up bad, mama. What am I supposed to do if that shit happens? Not that I care what my mom thinks, but you probably get on her bad side now. She probably thinks you got another nigga out there. Lucky for you, I'm hard-headed and don't give a fuck what somebody else says. I see too much in you and our being together, and I ain't trying to fuck it all off over this bullshit. I got this far with you, I might as well go all the way. If we are going to make things work, you can't be making mistakes like that. I ain't going to accept being called someone else's name, and I know you won't either. I'm going to respect you to the fullest. You are my queen. That's a good letter you wrote to the warden. Mail it this week. And if you call my mom again, please stop calling me that nigga's name. I'm gonna holler. I still love you, mama. Daddy. This is my reply. Greetings, Daddy. I got your letter telling me how hurt you were about my fuck up. Still yet, I'm glad to hear from you as always. I love you so much, Darnell, and I am so sorry. You already know I can't apologize enough, but still I say I'm sorry. That messed with you more than I realized. I really wish I would have kept it to myself, but I could not. I want to always keep it real with my baby, but I am so sorry for hurting you. When you hurt, I hurt. I'm sitting here thinking about what you said about if the shoe was on the other foot. Baby, I feel the hurt you feel being called someone else. I would be totally crushed. I thank Daddy, God and you, for the understanding you show me. I was typing something on the internet today about what do you see in your man, and understanding was the first thing I wrote. I am so feeling your love for me. I won't make that mistake again, for real. I'm starting to feel contempt for Tyrone because of the things he says, and I barely write him once a month. I was going to visit him sometime in the future, but I will not. You may be right. However, I don't want to cut him slap off until I feel the Lord says the same. I want to be his friend because he still insists he loves me. And I could never see myself falling weak for Tyrone again. But if you just ain't feeling my relationship with him, I just have to deal with that. You mean more to me than any friendship. You and I are one, and I don't want to fuck that up. You said I was supposed to be your fiance. Baby, I am. When you asked me to marry you, I had to assess your seriousness, but it took me less than a minute to say yes. It's you I want, Daddy. Believe that. And I am convinced that once I get with you, ain't no nigga's name gonna be on my lips but Daddy's. My soulmate. And the way you have my pussy tingling and contracting like you do on paper, I can only imagine what the real thing would be like. I thank God for my baby's hard head. And your mom does not think what you said. At first she thought Tyrone was my son. I simply told her Tyrone was another person in prison that I write. I had already told her I seen your ad on the internet and wrote to you with questions about the unit you were on. She probably thought the same thing about this Tyrone person. She just went on to the next subject, and I did not say Tyrone again. I don't think I have said his name since. I love you, baby, and I'm sorry again. I'm going to make it up to you. I know you're going to say I don't have to, but I will. You're my baby, and I respect you too. You're welcome for calling your mom. I'll call her again after I see you. I can't wait for that day either, baby. I'm going to call the unit tomorrow. If I am not on the list for contact, I will write another letter. You know you are turning me on talking about our visit. I hope the warden feels my pleas. I want that ooh baby kiss that allows me to taste Daddy's tongue and vice versa. And you can grab my ass and your babies if you want to. Just don't get carried away and get our visit terminated. I want to spend every second with you I can. I pray decent COs are working visitation and don't do no tripping on us. I ask God that they be blessed. I began to refer to Darnell as Daddy even more. I did not want to make the mistake of calling him Tyrone again. I called the unit to request a contact visit with Darnell, and Darnell requested the same on his end. The letter I wrote in support of a contact visit went something like this. I am writing to express my desire to have contact visits with Darnell. I am his fiancé. I will be driving all the way from Houston to see him. I am aware that the rules state, with prior approval from facility administration, non-immediate family members may be allowed contact visits if immediate family members are unable to visit the offender. He does not have anyone willing to visit and support him in this manner that I have and will. It would mean so much if we could have contact visits. I find it comparable to the hug and kisses you give your family after not seeing them for a long time. It is even more so with Darnell and I. We have hopes of becoming husband and wife, but have not shared the pleasure of touch. If you could find it in your heart to please allow Darnell and I to have contact visits, I am convinced Darnell will be a healthier, happier inmate. I thank you for your time and your consideration in advance. I ended with how I could be contacted and prayed for the best. Whether the letter I wrote helped or not, I do not know. My next letter from Darnell let me know our contact visit was granted. He was ecstatic, and so was I. It was the main topic of our letters. Darnell said he was so happy he wanted to kiss the warden. A panel of 3 decided whether to grant our request, and she spoke up for him. He could not wait to kiss and hold me. I felt the same way. I believe a hug reveals a lot about a person, especially how they are feeling. When I get close to people and look in their eyes, I pick up vibes from them. I could not wait to see what type of vibes I picked up when I hugged my future husband. I had to share this good news with someone, so I logged on to PTO. At this point, I was corresponding daily with an awesome group of ladies who would be almost as happy as I was about the news. All right, y'all, that's chapter 12. And we made it all the way through to the end, too. No interruptions. Amen. That was chapter 12. We're going to come back with chapter 13, and that's talking about the women of PTO. All right, y'all. Be blessed. Smooches.